Well, good afternoon. My name is Matt Marshall, and I have the privilege of serving as the president and CEO of United Way of West Tennessee. I want to welcome you to our 2020-21 virtual campaign kickoff. This is by no means a typical way we would have done kickoffs in the past, but that being said, this has been anything but a typical year. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted life for all of us and has caused our businesses, our agencies, our local governments, our schools, our churches, and our families to adapt in ways we could not have foreseen. Every single one of us has likely sat in on dozens of Zoom calls over the last several months. And if you're like me, you're probably Zoomed out. So we're grateful, to be able to engage with you on a different platform this afternoon. One that not only gives you a reprieve from that typical boxy setup with the black background, but that also creates the simulation of a more comfortable setting. I want to thank the Holloway Event Co. For their partnership in making this event come to fruition, and our United Way corporate sponsors, Central Distributors, First Citizens National Bank, Manpower, MTD, Security Bank, and Techner Apex. It was in 1941 that United Way of West Tennessee began its work with a vision to make our community better. More than 3/4 of a century later, our focus hasn't changed. Sure, times have changed, culture has changed, technology has definitely changed, but the needs of our community have remained ever present. So we pride ourselves in the reality that United Way has learned to change with the times. United Way has learned how to adjust with the culture. United Way has even learned how to adopt new technologies and strategies. But some things don't change. We're still in the business of serving people by uniting agencies and fighting for equity through improving everyone's access to health, education, and financial stability. Even, maybe I should say especially, during this pandemic. And we will take advantage of our historical knowledge that we built over 80 years to help lead with impact and build a better tomorrow. We're proud to have served this community for the past 80 years, and we have both an unwavering commitment to our region and a vision for a bright future. So I want to invite you to join us in being part of the change, because we are West Tennessee. Our MC today is Josh Robinson. He grew up in Collierville, Tennessee, and graduated from Collierville High School. And then he went from there to Harding University, where he graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism. He moved to Jackson in June of 2017, and you probably best know him as the former reporter for WBBJ, where he served as the anchor of Good Morning West Tennessee. For 3 years, he woke up people across the region with the news they needed to know to get their day started, along with a laugh or two. This past August, he hung up that sports coat and bow tie he wore so often and is now working at the Bramlett Group in Henderson, Tennessee, as a videographer and editor. He says that he's so excited to be able to stretch his creativity in his new career and can't wait to keep telling West Tennessean's story. So Josh, I want to welcome you to the stage, and we're glad to have you as our MC for today's event.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Matt. I'm so thankful that United Way of West Tennessee reached out to me and asked me to be a part of this event. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot to fill your time over the next hour. It's going to be great. Just a few quick reminders before we get everything rolling. Over here in the chat, everyone that's here, you can chat with them individually. There's also a Q&A section there at the top, chat participants Q&A. If you've got any questions for any of the speakers that we'll hear from throughout the next hour, just type those there, and we'll try to get those questions answered as quickly as we can. And so we'll be able to see those if you've got any questions. So again, thank you all so much for being here with us, celebrating 80 years of United Way of West Tennessee and how they are providing all of the necessary things, resources, tools, and services that people across the region need to survive. So we've got some great speakers lined up. Like I've mentioned, we'll hear from several of them over the next hour. It's going to be great. We've heard over our practices over the past couple of weeks, I've got to hear just a little bit about what they'll all be saying. It's going to be great. You're going to love everything that they have to say. Also, we've got some giveaways going on here as we will throughout. We've got 3 big gadgets we're giving away. So to help you out with all of that, working online, working from home, working out even a little bit. So first, we've got some Power Beats Pro wireless headphones. Don't have to worry about any of those wires getting tangled as you're running, or if you're just sitting on the couch doing a Zoom meeting, like Matt talked about earlier, or just listening to music. Those will be really helpful. A new Fitbit Sense Advanced Health Watch, want to get that right. So make sure you're tracking those calories, tracking those steps, whether those steps are from the couch to the fridge, back to the couch, or actually outside around the neighborhood, whatever it is. And we have got a 64 gig iPad mini that we'll be giving away. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for all of that. We'll announce those winners towards the end of today's event. So first, we want to kick it off with the singing of the national anthem by 11-year-old Jalen Lofton Taylor. He's a 6th grader at Martin Middle School and part of the Student Leadership Council. So Jalen, take it away.
Oh, say, can you see better under the lights? We're so very real at the twilight's last gleaming, whose by stripes and by stars the paradise free. All the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's record. Those were singing, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, a big round of applause there for Jalen. That was great. Thanks so much. That was a great way to kick off our event. So now we're getting into, first off, we have Mr. Braxton Williams. He is the Senior Vice President of the Gas Division at Jackson Energy Authority, and he serves as the West Tennessee Board Chair for United Way. Braxton, stage is yours.
Thank you, Josh. I am Braxton Williams, and it is my pleasure to serve as this year's Board Chair of the United Way of West Tennessee. On behalf of the board, I want to welcome you to this year's virtual campaign kickoff. Before I give you a teaser about the program you are going to hear today, I would like to take a moment and recognize the United Way of West Tennessee board members and say a special thank you to the companies they represent. Leanne Bentley with Leaders Credit Union, representing Madison, Crockett, Hardeman, and Chester counties. Jim Bell with Techner Apex, representing Haywood County. Carroll County Mayor Joseph Butler. Weakley County Mayor Jake Bynum. Representing Dyer and Lake counties, Kevin Cook with CNC Pharmacy. Charlie Deal with UT Martin, representing Weakley County. Dr. Kelly Beer with UT Martin Parsons campus, representing Henderson and Decatur counties. Mayor John Holden with the City of Dyersburg. Dr. Marlon King with Jackson Madison County School System. Representing Madison, Crockett, Hardeman, and Chester counties, Mike Overby with Central Distributors. City of Brownsville Mayor Bill Rawls. John Tucker with First Citizens National Bank, representing Dyer and Lake counties. Henry Smith with Blue Scope Holdings, representing Madison, Crockett, Hardeman, and Chester counties. Representing Carroll and Henry counties, Nathan Smothers with S&S Insurance. Brian Sparks with Kellogg's, representing Madison, Crockett, Hardeman, and Chester counties. Also representing Madison, Crockett, Hardeman, and Chester counties, Kyle Spurgeon with the Jackson Chamber. And Becky White with Lyndale Bissell. Thank you to the United Way board members and their companies for supporting the mission of United Way. Matt and his staff have put together a program for us today that you will find both uplifting and encouraging. Over the next half hour, you will hear testimonials from a mayor, a public school official, a university president, a healthcare CEO, a chamber president, and a longtime United Way board member and volunteer. We will also hear the remarkable story of someone who has benefited from the work of one of our United Way partner agencies. This coming year, United Way will be entering into our 80th year of work in West Tennessee. So think about that for a minute. The genesis of United Way of West Tennessee stretches back to the early days of World War II. During the following 8 decades, West Tennessee has experienced good times and bad. But through it all, United Way and our partner agencies have been there to serve the needs of our communities. And with your help, we will continue to meet the needs in the coming years. I firmly believe our best and our region's best is still in front of us. Fast forward with me 80 years from now. It's the 22nd century. The next generation is reflecting back on the year 2020. What are they going to say? The times were challenging? Yes. There were great needs in our communities? Yes. United Way of West Tennessee stepped in to fill those needs. With your help, absolutely. Thank you again for joining our kickoff event. These are interesting times, but we will get through this year and the years to come because together we are West Tennessee.
Great. Thanks so much, Braxton. That's a great way to kick off and a good reminder as we're looking forward that the future is important and what we're doing today is going to impact that future definitely. And speaking of those testimonials, let's go ahead and kick off with some of those. So first, sharing our experiences with United Way of West Tennessee, Weakley County Mayor Jake Bynum. He also serves on the United Way board for Weakley County. Mayor Bynum, the stage is yours.
Thanks so much, Josh. It's so great to be with you all this morning or this afternoon, I guess. But I'll tell you, to be perfectly honest, I wish I wasn't here. I wish I was anywhere because, to be true, somewhere else there wouldn't be a need for United Way. We know of the deep impact that United Way has on our communities and all of its partner agencies. And we wish, I pray nearly every single day that there wasn't a need for those partner agencies, places like We Care and the Weakley County Backpack Program, but there is. And so we're grateful that United Way is filling the gap and helping these communities. We also know of the impact of United Way in Weakley County through the participation of some of our largest and greatest industries and partners. So whether that's MTD, Parker Hannafin, UTM, or Simmons Bank, or Weakley County government, we're committed to the success of this organization, and most importantly, the success of its partner agencies with the success of those that they participate with. Obviously, the pandemic has shown us the greatest needs in our community, and United Way's been there to step in and to help our communities, whether that's through offering video equipment so that our teachers can help our students learn through virtual learning, or whether it's partnering with the Weakley County Municipal Electric System, We Care, and the Martin Housing Authority to offer utility assistance to our citizens who are out of work and need help just to keep their lights on and the water running every single day. United Way's also been active with our Weakley County Prevention Coalition through this pandemic in an addiction, recovery, and employment summit. This is just some of the valuable work that United Way is doing here in Weakley County, and we're so greatly appreciative. Most importantly, we're appreciative to you all, those that participate in either a partner agency, a contributor, or on our local boards. Thank you for all that you're doing. Josh, I really think thank you for allowing me to be here today and join you, and hope that you all have a great rest of the afternoon.
Great. Thanks so much, Mayor Bynum. And a great way, just a great example there, seeing how United Way of West Tennessee is helping not just one county, but I'm sure that's happening all over West Tennessee. Our next speaker, if you have been in West Tennessee for a while watching WBBJ, you might recognize him from there. He's also one of the newest additions to the Jackson-Madison County school system, Mr. Greg Hammond.
How are you, Josh?
I'm good, Greg. How are you doing?
Hey, you're rocking that post-TV beard.
Yes, thank you. I was very excited to get to show it off. So
Awesome. Well, thanks for asking the Jackson-Madison County School System to be here. So on behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Marlon King, our students, employees, and school board members, I just want to say thank you to the United Way. The Jackson-Madison County School System this week completed our first 5-day in-person school week since March. Now, while we celebrate this COVID-era milestone in October, we celebrate the fact also that distance learning has been underway since August, thanks to our incredible teachers and our wonderful community partners like the United Way of West Tennessee. Thanks to the efforts of United Way President Matt Marshall and Mark Reed of the Jackson Housing Authority, the Jackson-Madison County School System received 800 Wi-Fi devices to help facilitate our distance learning efforts. Now, at a time when school districts around the nation were scrambling for technology, the United Way played a vital part in the success of our New Normal initiative. Technology assistance is just one of the many ways the United Way has partnered with the Jackson-Madison County School System. When safety measures caused schools in Tennessee to shut down back in March, we took on the challenge of not only educating students off campus, but also feeding students off campus. This was a huge, huge task for a district our size and scope. You know, we have 12,700 students, and many of our scholars come from low-income families. So the need to provide meals when schools closed down, that need was very real. Partnering with the United Way of West Tennessee and the Southwest Human Resource Agency, over 160,000 meals were distributed between March and August. So when we say the Jackson-Madison County School System is winning, and the Jackson-Madison County School System is winning, we recognize winning happens in a team atmosphere. So we're thankful to have community teammates and partners like United Way. We've been successful this school year, and a significant reason for that success is community partnership. So again, we say thank you.
great. Thank you so much, Mr. Hammond. I really appreciate it getting to hear that update. And yeah, I remember winding down my contract there, getting to hear about all those Wi-Fi devices. So that's awesome to hear that those really worked out. And congratulations on making it through the first week.
Thank you, Josh. And thank you to the United Way.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, well, we're going to stick with education now and just move around a little bit. So now we're going to hear from Dr. Karen Boyer. She's the president of Dyersburg State Community College. Dr. Boyer, I pass the camera and microphone on to you.
Okay, well, great. Thank you very much. And just like Greg Hammond, here at Dyersburg State Community College and really in Dyer County, there's a lot of food insecurity among our students. And as you heard, among K through 12 students, that has occurred because of the pandemic and so many people losing their jobs. So we applied to the Tennessee Community Cares Grant. And that grant was set up by Governor Lee, really at the urging of our United Way groups across West Tennessee, but particularly United Way of West Tennessee was an advocate to the governor to make funds available in our regions to help the communities. Well, in our case, about half or more than half, really, of our students are on Pell Grants or low-income students, and really having a lot of trouble with some of them getting sick and losing their jobs, and then they get behind in their rent. And I know some with rent or eviction notices. So We've used a grant of $25,000 from the Community Cares Act from the governor to help students with through our food pantries and to help them with their Wi-Fi costs and to pay back rent so that they don't get evicted. Some of these students are just about ready to graduate as nurses. I know J.R. Ross is ready to, J.R. at West Tennessee Healthcare is ready to hire them as registered nurses. But at the moment, they're just really high risk and having a lot of trouble with just meeting basic needs. And United Way has been a major factor in helping people like that we all need to be out in our workforce. So it's that work, and then I know a group that gets help from United Way here in Dyer County is Matthew 2540. They've worked with the school systems really to help provide meals every day to school children and to families along with the school systems to meet that food insecurity need that's there. So United Way is making a huge difference in West Tennessee. Our college is kind of a microcosm of West Tennessee. We have students from all over the 20-some rural counties in West Tennessee and even Shelby County. So if it weren't for West Tennessee United Way of West Tennessee, we would have students that probably would be dropping out and being evicted from apartments and going hungry. So we applaud the work and thank everyone that's involved and urge everyone to get on board and support the campaign this year.
Great. Thank you so much for getting to hear how you guys are helping not only the K through 12 here with United Way of West Tennessee, but how they're able to help anyone in any age and any stage of life. It's just great. So I do want to remind you about those prizes we are giving away. Those Powerbeat Pro wireless headphones. Definitely going to be good if you're working out, walking around, doing Zoom calls, anything like that. You don't have to worry about all those wires hanging around, getting caught on anything if you have to get up real quick or anything like that. The new Fitbit Sense Advanced Health Watch. There we go. Get all those words in. Keeping up those steps, those tracks, standing, sitting, whether it is actually exercising, picking an Oreo out of the bag, dunking it, eating it, whatever your form of exercise is looking like right now. No judgment here. Absolutely not. And of course, that 64 gig iPad mini we'll be giving away. We'll announce those winners towards the end of our event today. All right. Our next speaker is someone I am very, very excited for all of you to get to hear from. Her name is Raven Farrell. She has an amazing story and some great pictures as well. Raven, I'm so thankful that you are so willing to share your story with us. So I will stop talking now and hand it over to you.
Thanks, Josh. Hey guys, my name is Raven Farrell and I am in recovery from heroin and meth addiction, and I'm also a recovering alcoholic. I wanted to just start out by telling y'all kind of how that all unfolded. I grew up in a dysfunctional home where my mom drank. I didn't know who my father was. I do have two other sisters. And there was a lot of physical and emotional abuse whenever I was younger that I watched, and I was part of it. My mom ended up marrying a man, and I was not his biological child. So anytime he got mad at my mom, I would kind of catch the brunt of the abuse. And I grew up really confused, and I didn't know why I was being treated differently. And I kind of kept that on the forefront of my mind growing up, that I was different, that I didn't deserve what everybody else deserved. The first time I ever took a drink was when I was 9 years old, and it was with my mom. My sisters and I had gotten separated. She lost custody of us, and she ended up being able to get me back. And we moved to Washington State, and it was alienation at its finest. My mom did what she wanted to do when I was at the house. I just wanted to fit in, and I felt like if I drank with her, that she would love me. And so I don't really remember how I felt. I just remembered that it tasted gross. And so that wasn't something that I did years after. I did start using and drinking whenever I was 12, 13 years old. We ended up moving back. I'm from a small town called Brownsville. Right now I'm in Jackson. It's about 25 minutes from here. You can blink and you'll miss it. And I just wanted people to like me because I felt so out of place. So I would dress the way other people would dress. I would try to be a chameleon and just blend in with what everybody was saying and doing and the new trends because I didn't know who Raven was. So I started drinking and smoking. I hated it, but in my mind, people wanted to be around me. I went through high school getting high. My junior year of high school, I ended up overdosing in my ag class and got kicked out and had to move to a different city. Whenever I graduated high school, by the grace of God, I got raped, and I felt really dirty and really undeserving of everything. And it took a while for me to get over that. But before I could, I had to dig into a little bit more stuff because I didn't like the way I was feeling. So I got introduced to harder drugs, and in 2 months, I went from 157 pounds to 98 pounds. I've been to jail. I can't tell y'all, I can't count how many times I've been to jail. I've been to numerous rehabs, and I just couldn't get it. I wasn't ready, and I wasn't able to look at myself because there was just so much guilt and shame there. And so it was a lot easier to get high than to deal with what was really going on. In 2016, I got caught with some pretty major stuff and was put in jail, and I did 9 months in Madison County Jail, and got put on 16-year state probation to a normal person. And in my mind, I really was going to quit. I had no desire to get high again, but I went back to the same life that I just came from, the one where I was living out on the streets. I was probably in every hotel room that y'all can think of here in Jackson. I would wake up with my pants below my ankles, not knowing what happened the night before. I didn't have any friends anymore except the ones that wanted to use me. I had completely forgot about my family. I would steal from you. I would lie to you. Anything that I could get out of you. That's what my main goal was, so I can get high. I didn't want to go back to that. But I hadn't got down to the nitty-gritty of it, and that was Raven. I hadn't talked about any of my feelings because I was never taught to. I didn't know how to identify my feelings. And so I went right back to the same thing because it was what I knew. And in the midst of that, I found out that I was pregnant, and I was full of fear because I couldn't even take care of myself, let alone take care of another human being. And I wasn't going to use. Well, that didn't last very long. And so I started using, and I couldn't stop. So my sobriety date is January 27th of 2018. It's hard to believe that this is coming out of my mouth, but at one point I hated God. And today he's actually the only thing I turn to. But I asked him, I didn't know if he was listening or if I deserved anything that I was asking for, but I asked him to just step in, and whatever happened, happened, because I could not quit on my own, and I didn't want to kill my baby. So best thing that ever happened is I got arrested a couple days later. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's literally the only way that I could stop. And I went to a treatment facility. And I did not have the money to do that. That's where United Way comes in. They give to a lot of organizations that help people like me. I was able to talk about my feelings. 4 months later, I ended up having my baby, and he was born perfectly healthy. And I can't express the gratitude that I have today. I know that it kind of sounds like I had a rough life. I'm not even worried about that. What I'm worried about is today and what I'm doing today. I did make bad decisions and bad choices, but I try not to make them today. There's so much good things that have happened in my life since I got sober and was able to be honest. And I was put around people that taught me how to do that. I work at a treatment facility now where I believe United Way has been helping us for over 20 years. I got my certified peer recovery specialist license while I've been sober. My baby boy is so healthy. He laughs all the time. He knows the ABCs already, and he's only 2. He's so smart. So I know I'm doing something right. I got engaged the beginning of the year, and at one point in my life, I didn't think that I deserved anybody because, believe me, I was not relationship material. We're getting married in December of this year, and I get a bonus child with him. She's 10 years old. There's one thing that I've always dreamt about doing, and that was going back to school. I just got so discouraged because I didn't believe in myself. But I work around people, and I have family and friends that believe in me when I can't believe in myself. And I enrolled in college at the beginning of the year, and I just started at Jackson State in August. And I'm passing all my classes. I'm doing great. That's something that I never believed that I could accomplish. You know, I can go on and on. My gratitude list is more than a mile long and probably longer than that. But I'm just telling my story because I went from someone so hopeless to behind the scenes people were giving to United Way. And because of that, lives like mine had the opportunity to change. Mine has completely done unbelievable things. I'm alive today. And that's something that I didn't feel like I didn't think I was gonna live. I know at one point I didn't want to. Now I love waking up, and I grasp on every opportunity. I just want to thank everybody that is involved. I want to thank United Way because I would not be here if it weren't for them. And my baby would be in foster care. I would be in prison. And more than likely, he probably would be born in the neonatal unit because he would be withdrawn from heroin. And so that didn't have to happen. Thank y'all so much for letting me share. It is an honor. And I hope y'all have a great day.
Great, Raven. Thank you so, so much. I have to say, beautiful family there that we all got to see. So, I mean, just a perfect example of how United Way of West Tennessee is making an impact on individuals' lives, helping people figure out what they want to do, how they can do it, and become a better version of themselves. So, Raven, thank you so, so much. So strong, so willing to share. We so appreciate it. And I hope you know that you've impacted a lot of people here today just by being willing to tell your story. And so, like I've said, United Way, it's all about helping people and figuring out how they can do that and getting them those resources. But there are also people behind the scenes making sure they are able to do that. And so we want to hear from one of those volunteers now, Miss Paula Atkins. She is one of those volunteers. She's been on the board in West Tennessee as well as locally in Carroll County and volunteering for 30 years. So let's hear what she has to say.
I'm grateful to have been part of United Way for about 30 years. I think most people really want to help their neighbors who are in need, but they're not sure how to go about it. And I discovered United Way had a unique method. What intrigued me most was learning that the money collected stays in the county, and county volunteers decide how to use the money collected. Service agencies apply for funds, declaring how they plan to use the funds. Then a community volunteer visits that agency to be sure they are using the funds to help other people. Then a community of volunteers decides how to disperse the funds. At the end of the year, the agency has to report how they actually helped improve the lives of people in need. That's a unique method. Recently, I heard a wonderful story about a young woman who benefited from United Way. One of our partner agencies, Carroll Academy, provided a safe place for her to go to school. She finished, got her high school diploma. Then Mr. Randy helped her get into Bethel. She graduated from Bethel, and today she is a productive citizen helping others. United Way provides us an avenue to work together, sharing our resources to help our fellow man.
Great. Thanks so much, Paula, for sharing. And 30 years of service. Thank you so much for giving your time and being willing to keep coming back year after year. It's very much appreciated and definitely making an impact. Again, I want to remind you about that giveaway. It's coming up really soon. We've got those Powerbeat Pro wireless headphones, the Fitbit Sense Advanced Health Watch, and that 64 gig iPad mini. All great to help you as we're working from home, doing those Zoom calls, as well as just some entertainment once you're done for the day, watching that Netflix, Hulu, anything like that. But before we give away, that's coming up real soon, we've got 2 more testimonials that we'll hear. So first, we're going to start with Mr. James Ross, mentioned a little earlier, President and CEO of West Tennessee Healthcare. So Mr. Ross, we want to hear about your experience with United Way of West Tennessee.
Thanks, Josh. I greatly appreciate this opportunity to share the collaboration and effort that United Way of West Tennessee has made and continues to make, particularly during this COVID pandemic. The economic shutdown, coupled with the sheltering in place, as you can imagine, has had tremendous social, financial, and even psychological effects of unknown proportions. To start out with, United Way of West Tennessee worked with Dyer County to help coordinate efforts to show support to healthcare providers in the early stages of the pandemic. There was a large sign that was made and placed in front of the West Tennessee Healthcare Dyersburg Hospital, and that was sponsored by First Citizens National Bank. And you just can't imagine what a small thing like that did for the morale, for the staff there at the hospital. That effort continued to grow, where yard signs were given and placed in doctors' offices, pharmacies, as well as dental offices and other health provider businesses that could not and did not close during that time. That progressed to yard signs being made and sold that many businesses bought to show support, and the money raised from that effort was distributed to local agencies there in Dyer County that were working to meet the greatest needs of the citizens of Dyer community. The CEO of Dyersburg Hospital was a participant on many Zoom calls hosted by United Way to help coordinate the efforts within the local nonprofit agencies and community leaders to meet the needs of the citizens. You know, the West Tennessee Healthcare Foundation, along with United Way of West Tennessee, they partnered together early on in the COVID pandemic to establish a COVID-19 response fund. Through their collaboration, over $125,000 has been spent to help those in need in the community that were detrimentally impacted by the pandemic, specifically areas of housing, utilities, food assistance, things of that nature. So it is remarkable to see how United Way impacts so many people, and as others have said, what a great work that this organization does. So Josh, to that end, the West Tennessee healthcare system considers it a privilege to work with Matt Marshall and the leadership team and all the volunteers that give of their time, energy, and effort to meet the needs and make a difference every day. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, JR. Good to see you again. And yes, like he said, Matt Marshall and everyone there at United Way of West Tennessee definitely making a big impact, helping everyone throughout this region. And it's been great to hear from all the different perspectives of how that's happening. Yeah, so we got one more testimonial. Last but certainly not least, it's Mr. Kyle Spurgeon, President and CEO of Jackson, Tennessee's Chamber of Commerce. So, Mr. Spurgeon, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Good to see you in your new role. And I'll just tell you, I got to know Matt Marshall probably several years ago, but not extremely well. And then several of you know Jackson leadership team, Mayor Conger, Mayor Harris, James Ross, Kim Thedford here. Back when the pandemic started, we started spending just about every morning together on a call and addressing how our community would respond to COVID-19. So Matt became somebody really quick that I learned to respect. And when he asked me to join this board, he was making an ask, but I told him real quick I was honored that he would make that ask, and even more honored that he would ask me today to help close out this testimonial part of this with a few comments. And I'll tell you, when you're in the chamber business, your job centers around creating a more economically viable and successful community and or region. So you do that by recruiting new industry, helping existing industries expand, supporting small businesses, supporting leadership programs, and building relationships. But any community or region is only successful as its people. For it is the people, the young, the old, the poor, the rich, the affluent people, all of those, it's the people that make a region and a community successful. I see United Way as that organization that seeks to ensure the success of all the people in our region. Because again, it's the people that make us all successful, and it's the people that are our greatest resource. We all know that many of our fellow West Tennesseans, they need our help, whether it's education outcomes, healthcare outcomes. All of those outcomes are directly influenced by United Way and the support that we give United Way. Your support directly influences those outcomes. So when we improve those outcomes, great things happen, not only for those individuals in our region, but for our entire region. We all want more jobs. We want a greater quality of life here. We're making great strides in all those areas. I think we can all continue to do more. It starts with helping others and supporting others. Your support for United Way changes lives, just like Ravens. I mean, what a fantastic testimony, and that is a personal example of what United Way does. Think about multiplying that by hundreds with people in Jackson, Madison County, and West Tennessee. You change lives by supporting United Way. So I encourage you to do that today.
All right. It's giveaway time. We have made it to the end. I know it's something we've all been waiting for, so I know we can't hear each other, but I want to drum roll anyways. Here we go. We're going to start with the headphones. The PowerBeat Pro wireless headphones, they go to Miss Stephanie Rifle. Congratulations. All right. Next up, another drum roll. We've got the Fitbit Sense Advanced Health Watch going to Miss Dorothy Gillen. Congratulations. I hope I'm saying your names right. Names are always tough, but you know who you are. Congratulations. And last, certainly not least, that iPad mini with the 64 gigs, drum roll, goes to Miss Kathy Moore. Congratulations to you three. Thank you all so much for being a part of our event. West Tennessee United Way of West Tennessee will be in touch with all three of you to get those gadgets so you can you can step up that work from home or work out or just chilling at home life. Again, just want to say a big thank you to everyone who came and joined us today. And congratulations to those winners. Thank you to our speakers giving testimonials, Raven for sharing her story. So brave, so thankful. You definitely made a big impact. And I'm going to now, for closing comments and thoughts, I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Matt Marshall. Matt?
Josh, thank you again for emceeing for us today. I want to, thank you for being a part of this event and helping us. And I want to thank all of you for joining us for this virtual campaign kickoff. Also, a special thanks to our corporate sponsors, central distributors, again, First Citizens National Bank, Manpower, MTD, Security Bank, and Techner Apex. And also thank you to Holloway Event Company for coordinating this event and handling all of the background support and our internal staff for that matter. I want to say thank you to Pat Ross, our Senior Resource Director, also to Kristen Chambers and Krista Paul, also Resource Directors here at United Way, to Catherine Cheshire, our Marketing Director, to Ms. Marquita Starks, our Finance Director, and Annalise Dance, our Marketing Intern. For those of you in the audience, after my closing statements, I'd like to invite you to stick around for a final time of networking. If your schedule permits, please feel free to mix and mingle across the various tables. Today, we've heard some fantastic testimonials of things happening all across West Tennessee. I'd like to express my gratitude to each of our speakers, especially Raven, for the courage to be able to be vulnerable and share her powerful story of redemption. As we face uncertain times, whether that be a pandemic, whether it be political or personal, let us all do so with the same boldness, a boldness that unites us around a shared hope and inspires us to do the impossible. That is the mission that we're inviting you to be a part of. Because let me remind you that none of this would be possible without your consistent support. It's the generosity of your companies and your agencies, of you individually, that have enabled United Way and its partners to continue to help those in West Tennessee facing an uncertain tomorrow. But we stare tomorrow down with a boldness that says, we will respond, we will recover, we will reimagine, and we will rebuild. Because there are 80 years of experience behind us, and we've done it before, and we'll do it again. And we look forward for that reason to another 80 years of giving back, another 80 years of propping up, and another 80 years of making this community a better place for everyone. As I mentioned during my introduction, the times will inevitably change, but United Way is already becoming more innovative, collaborative, focused, and even more passionate. So let us not shrink back from the challenges in front of us, but rather, arm in arm, march on towards the victory. Together, we will do it because we are West Tennessee. Thank you for joining us today, and may you continue to live united.